Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Ancient Apparition. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Clockwork.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Crystal Maiden.
Dire team pick. Dire team ban.
Bane.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Bear with me just 1 second. If you're just listening in right now, I'm checking to make sure my mic isn't muted. I think I might have derped again and accidentally muted myself.
Reserve time.
Alrighty, hopefully everything should be good to go. I'm looking at the stream right now. I'm not actually hearing anything, so I'm a little bit worried. If you are just listening in, I do apologize. I must have screwed up the mic again. I'm 49 Community Shoutcaster for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. Just going to quickly go over the picks and bans for both sides. We've got the Nyx Assassin as well as the Venomancer as the first and second ban. Nyx Assassin is pretty standard. It's a very strong hero that offers a lot in all 3 lanes. Interesting to see the Venomancer as the second ban. Ember Spirit and Queen of Pain as the first and second ban coming out from team insert name here. Ember Spirit's a pretty standard ban as he provides a lot of mobility and a lot of burst damage. Queen of Pain is a bit more unusual, so I'm assuming it must be a respect ban.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Bit embarrassing. So we've got the Mirana as well as the Magnus as the third and fourth ban. Pretty standard. Magnus not so much because he has lost a lot of favor with the reverse polarity damage nerf as well as the nerf to Bottle Crow. Was a lot more popular in the TI2, post TI2 DreamHack era when Bottle Crow wasn't nerfed and when reverse polarity still did its full amount of damage. That made him a very potent solo ganker. Lycan as the carry pickup coming out from Slithereen Squad. So a lot of synergy coming out with Lycan, not so much with the Ancient Apparition and Bane. I guess the theory behind it is Bane gives you that sleep to help set up Ancient Apparition, so that gives Lycan time to walk on up, apply that Chilling Touch. If he's good with this micro, he can micro his wolves behind, body block with the wolves to make sure it's difficult for the enemy offlaner to get out of that situation. In a try situation, Lycan offers you very little. The wolves do hurt a lot, but there isn't all too much he provides besides that damage. Hal, however, is an incredibly powerful factor. As with Chilling Touch as well as Hal, the supports over on the Dire side are going to hurt a hell of a lot more on the supports over on the Radiant side. So it looks like we've got that Crystal Maiden and Sand King combination. The Crystal Nova helps set up for the Burrow Strike. Very potent combination that comes out. Just going to make sure I'm still not muted. Okay, cool. So it sounds like I'm all good now. Alrighty, so it did just derp. Turns out that I accidentally muted myself with the mic. I do apologize, it's happened twice now, it's a bit embarrassing. And so we've got the Lifestealer as well as the Outworld Destroyer. Outworld Destroyer is once again a very standard ban, just because he pigeonholes your mid pick to be a hero that has to break even or can beat that Outworld Destroyer. In the hands of a very competent player, especially when the skill bracket is a bit uneven and for some games, can be very difficult. Puck, so it looks like he'll be the mid laner with that Clockwork in the off lane. Lifestealer is a very strong tri-lane aggressive carry, especially in light of the fact that they wanted to pick up a safe farming carry like that Lycan, who doesn't offer as much in the try-v-try situation, especially if they do clash. He doesn't have that open wounds, all he really has is right-click and wolves. But that Hell with Ancient Apparition could ensure that the three of them can just right-click enemy heroes down. Timbersaw picked up, so he'll be the offlaner going up against that Clockwork. It should be a pretty even matchup, as Clockwork could use cogs to drain mana and harass back the Timbersaw. As a melee hero, it's very easy to get the cogs knocked back off. And Clockwork is very skilled with that. He can burn off most of Timbersaw's mana, so he can't spam out that Welling Death, which Timbersaw relies on to beat another mid hero, especially as Clockwork is a strength hero, so Welling Death's 15% HP remove, primary stat removal. For Clockwork as a strength hero, removes 15% of his strength, so that actually impacts his HP. Time. Just going to confirm that you can hear me now. Just going to ensure that I'm alright. Okay, cool. So yeah, it turns out everything is fine and dandy. I just did derp with the mic earlier on. And so 5th ban, Storm Spirit. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to log out of Steam. So Storm Spirit ban is very surprising, considering that Storm Spirit has to go mid, and in this case, Puck actually completely destroys Storm Spirit, just because of the fact that Storm Spirit has less range than Puck, so Puck can bully him out, especially with the increased base damage in Puck over the last few patches. Not only that, Storm Spirit really relies on being able to drop the Static Remnant and get those harassment hits off with the Overload. And so since Puck has Phase Shift and most likely skills Phase Shift at level 1, with the fact that it no longer costs mana, every time he throws out that Overload attack at you, all you have to do is Phase Shift it out, and then he's wasting mana, he's losing control of the lane, as you can bully him back with your superior range and higher base damage. Not only that, your silence makes it very difficult for Storm Spirit to go against you. In some situations, when you're facing up against a hero like Queen of Pain or the Storm Spirit, it actually is advisable to choose to get a secondary point up in your silence ability instead of maxing out your orb, as silence at level 1 only has a 0.25 second silence, so bit of an interesting pickup. We've got a Templar Assassin, so Templar Assassin mid up against the Puck. Templar actually has a great advantage against Puck in this case, as Puck doesn't deal enough damage to shatter through those refraction charges. Slardar picked up against the Slithereen Squad, so it's almost like no Tidehunter facing up against a Tidehunter. Not quite as bad. So Crystal Maiden, Sand King, and Slardar and that aggressive tri-lane, they want to go try-v-try. They want to beat down and shut down this Lycan, who doesn't offer anything aside from right-click power compared to Slardar, who has that stomp. And Clockwork going up against Timbersaw should be a pretty even matchup, although if Clockwork is able to take an early aggressive lead with those cogs and push back Timbersaw, he can really shut down Timbersaw's ability to harass him in the lane, and means that Clockwork can secure himself a lot of farm against the Timbersaw, who needs to usually want to pick up something like Arcane to level 6 before his ganking power really gets fully realized. If Timbersaw does overplay against that Clockwork, if he traps him with the cogs or catches him alone Battery Assault, he actually can bring him down. Battery Assault completely shuts down Timbersaw's Timber Chain ability, as it can be interrupted now. Reactive Armor doesn't do shit against Battery Assault as it's magical damage, so it should be a bit interesting, as Clockwork also has higher base armor than the Timbersaw, so he can trade hits more favorably, so long as he doesn't have to eat the Q.
Prepare for battle.
And so I don't even smoke calling out the fact that their mid player, King, isn't here. He played an absolutely phenomenal Pudge up against Blink, was respect banned, so just going to quickly introduce the players over on the Dire side. Stand-in, Heart of the Swarm, trash player, looks like he's running towards the mid lane over in that Templar Assassin. calling out the fact that he's lucky he doesn't have to play off against King. Matty J. Bell is their carry player over in the Lycan. And Stanio, their offlaner, played a pretty good Magnus in the last series I casted with him against Struggle. Now playing that Timbersaw. And so we also got the captain, who I think Cadaver's usually that captain or drafter, playing that Bane. And Greg is Noob, the other standard, playing as that support Ancient Apparition. We'll see if he chooses to max out that Chilling Touch or go for that Cold Feet. Yeah, he's gone Chilling Touch at level 1. Usually the ideal pickup as Cold Feet is very unreliable, especially in early levels in the game where you don't have anything in another ability to help combo it up. Viceroy Gunray, the offlaner, playing against as that Clockwork. Stand-in, No Name, playing as their mid over in the Puck. Choosing not to go for that Bottle Rush build, actually starting with a Selv as well as Tangos, not having any Tangos pulled to him, bit unusual. Slap and Tickle over in that Crystal Maiden, hasn't skilled her ability yet, might scale up her Crystal Nova to help set up that early level Burrow Strike, but could choose to scale up that Frostbite if nothing's happening. Slardar being played by the secondary stand-in, HJX2, and I Don't Even Smoke playing as that Sand King. So it looks like a Sentry Ward blocked against that creep, Invisibility Rune spawns in the bottom lane, and Timbersaw going 1v3. We've got a quick disconnect coming out from Matty J. Bell, so they will be loading in. So Timbersaw going in the tri-lane situation, this is very bad for the Dire side, as unlike Clockwork, who has that Cogs, who has the Rocket Flare to be able to farm, Timbersaw doesn't really do anything against a tri-lane situation. He absolutely cannot tri-lane against a competent tri-lane. Just because of the fact that all Crystal Maiden has to do is Nova him. It looks like he's skilled for Timber Chain at level 1, so the issue with that is while you can remove yourself out of danger, they could just right-click you down. Timbersaw has 0 armor. That Stout Shield will only be able to block so much. In this case, however, as it's just the Crystal Maiden he has to worry about, as Sand King isn't range, he's a melee hero that has to walk up to start hitting you. He should be okay, but ideally you want to get a few points up in that reactive armor, up in that Whirling Death, so you could use that to stay in lane, give yourself some sustainability, as well as to get some CS, as Timbersaw, unlike a Windrunner or a Clockwork who just needs EXP, he needs a decent amount of farm as well. You ideally want to pick up your Arcane Boots before you start ganking, as your Chakram does cost a lot of mana, 100 mana just to throw that out. You ideally want to throw off your Chakram once or twice, follow in with that Willing Death as well. So the fact that Timbersaw chose, he doesn't have a safety ward as well. Usually you want to place a safety ward either over here, which is the pub ward, or more likely around here, just to give you a vision of when the supports are rotating in from the side. The fact that he chose to go for the block with that sentry ward, bit unusual. Would have been better off having that safety ward. Looks like the Radiant side have placed the ward. They've gone for blocks as well. In the 6.9, 6.8 patch era, you no longer want to go for blocking the pull camp just because it's an easy camp, as well as the fact that EXP is now shared with you if you're in the jungle range of 1,300. So it means you no longer want to contest it, you instead want a safety ward, and you want to just leech EXP passively, as that frustrates the supports. It means they're wasting their time out of lane, while they're off pulling as well, especially in this situation when you're up against a hero like that Lycan. You actually want to bully him when the supports are away. So we see right now, they're pushing the creep equilibrium out very quickly. Bad for them as it means that Clockwork just picked up a free level 2. He's actually going to feed the wolves, which also give gold as well as EXP. There we go. Gets a little bit of gold from that. You never want to feed EXP or gold to the offlane. You want to make sure it gets as little as possible. Over in this tri-lane, I'm expecting if a gank attempt, if a first blood attempt happens, it most likely will be here, as Timbersaw has got nothing against this tri-lane. If he goes in for that Timber Chain, Crystal Maiden can frostbite him before it flies out. Timber Chain has a bit of a slow cast, so you could always see it coming. You see Crystal Maiden going for a bit of harass right now. I would like to see Sand King also hanging around that Crystal Maiden. This Crystal Maiden on her own can't bully up Timbersaw. Timbersaw knows he can tank those right clicks. Whereas if the Sand King's around, you also have to be wary of that Burrow Strike. You see what he's doing right now, Insanio. Good plays. He's hiding out in the tree so the Radiant supports don't have vision of him. He's still able to leech EXP. There we go. He's spotted out now, so he's going to be driven back. They need to be playing a lot more aggressive right now. As Timbersaw, once he starts getting a few levels, he's got level 2 now, so he's got reactive armor. So Crystal Maiden's right clicks no longer hurt him. Bit of a misplay. When you're against a passive tri-lane hero like a Timbersaw or like a Bounty Hunter who only get more dangerous the more levels they get, you want to play aggressive at level 1. You want to initially kill them, force them out of the lane, or at least give yourself a level advantage. Looks like Cadaver has disconnected. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, looks like Puck is dominating Templar Assassin. Very surprising. As usually, Templar Assassin does well against heroes like the Puck who don't have a reliable way of immediately dropping all her refraction charges, apart from just right-clicking her. And the fact that Templar Assassin with a refraction can out-CS the Puck. So you pick up refraction at level 1, you use that to out-deny Puck, as well as get some harassment. Once you pick up level 2 with the side blades, it's much easier for you to deny EXP, as well as get last hits yourself if you angle yourself properly, as well as even get a few cheeky right clicks in up against that Puck. Turning around right now, he drops that refraction. There we go, that's that power coming out. Great play coming in from No Name, immediately phase shifting that hit, but he takes that side blade shot right there. That's the harassment power coming out from that Templar Assassin. It's the reason why she excels so well in a 1v1 situation against heroes that don't have a reliable way to break those charges. It's the reason why we started seeing heroes like Juggernaut played mid in that TI2 kind of era, just to break the fact that Blade Spin immediately shatters all the Templar Assassins at refraction charges. That's why we started to see Venomancer mid as well as the Darkseer, simply to counteract Templar Assassin's dominating power with the refraction. She has been nerfed in the past few patches. Her side trap snare has gone down from 50 to 30%. It increases now the longer you drop it, but you usually want to drop it immediately, so that has shut down a lot of her power. She's rotating to the bot. She knows that since Puck went top and immediately turned around, the rune must be bot, so good awareness coming out from the Templar Assassin player. She's got a bottle. In terms of CS, it looks like Slardar is leading the way at 11 for 2. Interesting to note that Lycan only has 5 for 0. Despite the fact that he's in the tri-lane, uncontested, with Viceroy Gunray playing very passive. Hasn't really gotten all too much CS, so that's pretty interesting. He actually just sat there and missed one right there. Ancient Apparition trying to help out. Misses another CS. I don't actually know what he's up to. The whole point of the tri-lane farmer is you're meant to get at least 80 to 90% of the CS, as otherwise you're wasting the support player's time, as they're sitting there babysitting you right now. We see the Wolves going in for a lot of harassment over on Viceroy Gunray. That's the power to Lycanthrope. Clockwork chose not to start with... he's got that stealth shield, but his base armor is pretty low at about 3, so he is taking a lot of damage. Did realize I actually did nerf Clockwork's base armor a few patches ago. Timbersaw choosing to get 2 points up in that reactive armor. I don't agree with this. You want to have as few points of reactive armor as possible, as without significant points up in either your Timber Chain or your Whirling Death, your ganking presence is extremely minimal. Interesting to note, the support players on the Radiant side, both the Crystal Maiden and the Sand King, playing extremely passively. What I'd like to see right now is them either going for a kill attempt on the Timbersaw or going for a kill attempt on that Templar Assassin, as Templar Assassin falls apart to rotation ganks. However, you do have to keep in mind that with that meld, you always want to carry Dust, as she can meld in tower range, force you to tank those tower hits. She's going to pick up a free haste rune. She's having a pretty good time. Puck is leading the CS board, as she has left the lane a lot of the time just to go for those runes, so Puck is being able to capitalize on that. He's actually going back to base right now. I really don't know what he's doing. He had a Self. He has the Flying Courier to be able to bottle crow if he needs mana. He needs the idea of the mid lane is you never want to leave the lane unless you absolutely have to. It goes the same with any lane, but mid is especially important, as the first player to hit 6 can then control the momentum of the game. Because once Puck picks up Dream Coil, she can rotate for a gank either on the bottom or on the top lane. Dream Coil severely shuts down Timbersaw, as it limits his mobility once he Timber Chains out, or if he can even interrupt his Timber Chain. We see Clockwork actually shooting his Rocket Flare to attempt to block the creep pull. Good plays coming out from Viceroy Gunray. He's playing very passively. He knows all he has to do is hit level 6. Once he gets that hook shot online, he can do a lot of damage. Boots flying out to Timbersaw. He has 5 CS. I'm actually astounded he even got that amount of CS. He's got 2 points up in that Whirling Death now, so just wanted that second point of reactive armor as a safety point. Would have liked to see him completely max out Whirling Death or Timber Chain with only 1 point of reactive armor. It looks like a bit of action happening. Heart of the Swarm Trash player diving Puck, diving him past the tier 1, drops that side trap. Puck immediately jukes out with the Ethereal Jaunt, bottle charging right now. Loses all refraction charges to that range creep, but with the sheer amount of right click power, that looks like First Blood's about to come out. One last hit. And Templar Assassin gets a great First Blood kill. With that haste rune, she was able to dive Puck way back. Puck threw out the orb, but chose not to go back to the tower, which was a bit surprising. I guess he overestimated the amount of refraction charges Templar Assassin has. She's immediately picked up a smoke, so she wants to start rotating. Will be interesting to see if she chooses to go for the phase into drums build. Oh no, she's going for treads. Treads is the superior boots pickup on Templar Assassin if you want to increase the amount of DPS you do. The phase boots is also nice for the repositioning as well as the movement speed.
The Radiant should really do something about that middle tower.
So you see that Whirling Death harassment coming out in the Slardar. He's only level 4. Looks like he's saving all his gold. Wants to go for early Blink Dagger. Great item pickup coming in from the Slardar. As the instant he picks up, Viceroy Gunray caught actually a bit out of position. Drops the cogs, pushes back Ancient Apparition. Puck is coming in, drops out the hook shot. Is caught out by the cold feet though. Isn't frozen. Is able to move past. Many J Bell moving forward. Phasor drops. Dream Coil only catches one, but catches Many J Bell. They're more than happy to kill that tri-lane hero. Chilling Touch drops a bit too late. But Templar Assassin comes in for the fight. She didn't get that Chilling Touch. Slap and Tickles also hang around. Viceroy Gunray, great cog placement from him, forcing them back, ensuring the retreat coming out from the players over on the Radiant side. And they do pick up a free kill over in that Lycan for the cost of a hook shot as well as a Dream Coil. Forced to the Templar Assassin to rotate top. Support players, both Both the Ancient Apparition as well as the Bane aren't really able to accomplish all too much. Rocket Flare does a bit more damage to Ancient Apparition, driving him back. Great plays coming up from the Radiant side, capitalizing on the fact that the support players were playing passive. They were hanging back. What I would like to see for the support players over on both sides to get a bit more active, start rotating. Slap and Tickle gets his clarity cancelled. Should have turned around, thrown out right click on Bane to cancel his, but backs away, recognizing that if she went for that sleep, he'd be caught way out of position. Interesting to note, the Sand King, yeah, he's only level 3. He's picked up boots, however. Crystal Maiden choosing to max out Frostbite. Not a big fan of this build. I do like the fact, like Crystal Maiden to max out the Q in the early stages of the game, as a Frostbite only scales by an extra half second per level. Usually not too significant, increases the amount of damage you do by about 35 compared to the AoE damage coming out from the Crystal Nova, as well as the increase in snare duration. It's only a 0.5 increase in snare duration as well, but the fact that it's AoE, so it can affect more than one hero, usually makes it much more effective, provides a much more effective form of burst damage as well. Ancient Apparition getting that ward block. Meanwhile, over in the bottom lane, it looks like Timbersaw actually got a kill against the Slardar. Sand King, not all too much he could do. He could go in for that Burrow Strike. Looks like he threw that out from his mana pool. But the great play coming out from that Timbersaw, they really didn't punish the fact that Timbersaw was 1v3 against a competent trilane with the supports playing very aggressively. Timbersaw actually can't do anything against a trilane. But it looks like in this case, the Radiant side really didn't do anything. He's going to get another kill. Never mind, Burrow Strikes out. Where's the crush coming out from Slardar? Tanking those shots up with the reactive armor. Timbersaw should be fine. He's completely out of mana though, but he has that self. Plays coming out from Sand King. He's hanging around. He wanted it to go a bit further so he could go in. With that kill, he picked up Arcane Boots, and so the hookshot comes and catches out Ancient Apparition. Throws out the Chilling Touch, dies. Cog pushes back TA. Silence out from TA as well. She's caught out the Dream Core, caught up with the Frostbite as well as the Crystal Nova. How this one play is going to go down? Interesting to see that she hasn't. No, never mind. She dropped that Meld, but immediately is dusted up by Viceroy Gunray. Good awareness from him, recognizing that TA would most likely use Meld to buy time for herself, and just punches her down. Says, none of your shit, you're going down. 3 for 2 over on insert name here. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check. In terms of EXP, it's pretty even. About 500 EXP lead in favor of the Dire, but it's quickly being rectified. About 500 gold lead. That's just due to the one extra kill that the Radiant side has. Really would like to see them attempt to get a kill up on Timbersaw. With the fact that he has level 6, level 8 now, so he's got a maxed out Wielding Death. He actually might be a bit too difficult to kill with the support rotation alone. So they didn't capitalize on the weakness of Timbersaw and against a 3v1 situation, which was to their detriment. As Clockwork, he's more than happy to go 3v1 with the cogs. He knows he's going to be fine. Once he hits level 6, he knows that if he catches a hero out on their own, they're going to die. Timbersaw, however, needs a bit more setup as his chakram. The snare coming out from chakram is dependent on what their HP is. Clockwork hanging around, might be spotted up, but yeah, he's spotted up by the TA with that ward there, but he has his hook shot up now, so TA really should back away. He knows that there are 2-3 heroes over in the middle lane, so if he's caught out of position with that hook with the cogs, he can go down. Clockwork picks up the illusion rune, he's got the bottle, drops it right now, turns around, Crystal Maiden throws out the Frostbite, caught out with the hook shot as well as the cogs. Dust is dropped to prevent him from melding, and Templar Assassin goes down. Rotation coming up from Bane, he almost gets a kill, never mind, didn't get that last right click in with that bottle. Frostbite holds him in place, Chakram comes out, Maddie J Bell as well as Insania rotating over to the middle lane. It's now a party. No Name salves as well as the Bane salving up, chasing forward, Chakram throws out, Viceroy Gunray might go down, with that Timber Chain he goes down, Cogs cannot help you against Timber Chain, Maddie J Bell just throwing out a few right clicks, he wants and on some of this as well, doesn't summon his wolves, doesn't have his ult, Chakram throws out once again, No Name taking a lot of damage, that's that power of that Whirling Death. Fortunately, did not clip a tree. If it clipped a tree, would have killed Puck instantly from the pure damage. Manny J Bell drops his ult, realizes, hang on, there's a bit too much damage coming out. I'm afraid, I'm backing out. Waste of a level 1 ultimate for a Lycan, but Lycan's ultimate isn't too important in the early stages of the game, as you usually want to go use it for kill attempts, and that's about it. Slap and Tickle hanging around. Looks like he's actually going to go down. Insania just walks up, throws up the Chakram, and then goes in with the Whirling Death. TA is diving now against that SK, throws out one refracted right click, does a lot of damage. Cool tip to note with the Templar Assassin, you can usually tell when she has a refraction up by the brightness of her blades. They do glow a bit bigger, and they're slightly bigger. It's a bit of a subtle difference, but if you can recognize if you're up against a 1v1 matchup, can give you a bit of awareness. Like right now, they've stopped glowing, so you know the refractor's off. Only shows for the offensive refract charges, but if she has offensive refract charges, it's usually a safe assumption to assume that she also has defensive refraction charges up as well. With the treads and with the boots, her item hasn't progressed all too well. Slardar, I think he's picked up his Blink Dagger. Yeah, he's got his Blink Dagger as well as his level 7, so he's at the strongest part of the. You see that Blink Dagger right now, up on Gregor's noob. He's going to go down. There's no way he could do anything against that. Slardar, Cold Feet is broken by Sprint. And there you go. And with amplified damage, you can't juke him out. You can't juke the fish, and he's going to beat your ass down. Gets a free kill. Chakram comes out from Sanya, who's rotating. He says, hey, melee strength hero, I want in on this. Clockwork picks up treads. Good pickup for him, considering the fact that he will be tread switching and bottle with that bottle. Eats that Chakram as well as the Welling Death. Does a lot of damage, but he's able to drop that Slithereen Crush and blink his way on out. Good play coming out from Slardar. He did it right before the Wolves right-clicked him, as the Wolves kind of player damage, and that would have disabled his blink dagger. Urn of Shadows picked up on Ancient Apparition. Pretty decent pickup on him. Yeah, he's got boots, so he's more than happy to go for something like that. Looks like a gank attempt happening in the bottom lane on that TA. TA's biggest weakness is when you gank more than one hero, as Refraction is completely wasted. Frostbite as well as Hookshot. Hookshot hits creeps, however, it's called out with a Burrow Strike. Sandstorm to break the Refraction charge is called out in the cogs. Turns off a few right clicks on Slap and Tackle, but he runs away. And Clockwork, Viceroy Gunray has been playing fantastic. He's been rotating it. Every time his ult's off cooldown, he's been using it to engage, get a few kills. I don't think his ult's been on cooldown for more than 10 seconds. Excellent map awareness and rotations coming out from him. He's really creating space for his team. They really do need to kill this Timbersaw before he picks up that Bloodstone, as once he reaches that point, especially against heroes like the Crystal Maiden, who can't do anything against Timbersaw at all. Once he picks up Bloodstone, Crystal Maiden becomes a walking bag of gold, a cash pinata for Timbersaw to walk up and smash on open. As you can Frostbite Timbersaw, but he can still hit you with that Chakram. There's still Timber Chain closer towards you and burst you down with that Welling Death. We've got a push happening over in the top lane with Matty J Bell. He's actually tanking the tower damage. He needs to draw aggro away from the tower. If you attack click one of your creeps or a friendly unit, it will draw fire away. Hard the Swarm Trash Play called out Dream Coil as well as amplified damage, just to hold him in place while they went for that tower. Cadaver hanging around. He's got his ultimate up, so they have to be careful. Runs uphill, gets juked out by the Slardar, immediately eats that stun, drops Fiend's Grip, but goes down to the Puck Illusory Orb. Templar Assassin engages well to assist the commitment from Bane and is punished for it. Great play coming out from HJX2. He jukes out the Bane Elemental, so he knows he's there, goes up to go for an ultimate attempt, but immediately hangs back, so he could drop that Crush the instant he has vision of him. Waste of a Bane ultimate. Would have liked to see him perhaps go for that sleep instead, as it was just him and the Puck, and it means that Puck has to eat that sleep. Otherwise, Slardar is completely out of that fight. Would have perhaps given TA enough time to go for that kill, but nonetheless. We've got Sanya rotating Ice Blast as well as Chakram. Looks like Slap and Tickle is going down. Sand King Burrow Strikes into the Ice Blast, so he's going to go down as well. Where's that Timber Chain? He had a perfect range. Throws out that Chakram, and he's going to shatter from that. Timber Chain's in and kills him with the Welling Death. Ancient Apparition, I think he picked up an uncharge for that. Yeah, he's got 2 uncharges from that. We've got Arcane Boots picked up on Sand King, so that is good. One of the big changes with the fact that Blink Dagger no longer costs mana is you can choose complete. Never mind. Over the top lane, Matty J Bell takes a bit of damage, but without the cogs to hold him in place, is able to run his way out of there. The fact that Blink Dagger no longer costs mana, Sand King players can actually choose, as well as Earthshaker, can choose to not go for Arcane Boots and rush that Blink Dagger instead. 1,000 gold investment on the Arcane Boots so you can sustain your spells more than once. The reason why you needed Arcane Boots before is if you rush Blink Dagger, you would only have enough mana for Blink as well as Burrow. You wouldn't have enough for your ult as well. With Blink Dagger no longer costing mana, you could choose to rush it, as the 75 mana cost is quite significant, especially on strength heroes like Slardar, as well as Clockwork. As well as Sand King, sorry. Clockwork doesn't go for a Blink Dagger. He can, but it's a pretty troll pickup on him. It's also the reason why Brewmaster has been seeing a lot more action, as Brewmaster is limited in the early phase of the game only by his mana pool. So the fact that he no longer has to go for Arcane, or relying on a bottle of mana, on a magic stick for mana so he could get his clap as well as his ult off with the blink. The fact that he can now go in, hasted TA, running in, throws out the refract. Ice Blast is going to hit 2, turns around to Sand King, immediately kills him with one more right click. He drops that Sandstorm. Great play coming out from him. Sanya immediately kills out the sprinted Slardar with Chakram with the Timber Chain. Chakram flies out, kills Sand King while he was Sandstormed up. He should have chosen to run, but with that hasted TA, not too much he could do. Diving on No Name. Where's that Dream Coil? Could have turned it around. Freezing Field coming out from Crystal Maiden does a lot of damage, but goes down eventually. Triple kill coming out for the Clockwork. Gunray is duking it out with Templar Assassin. Well, with that magic wand, is able to duke it out. Ultra kill coming out from Timbersaw. He's now reached that point of critical mass. They're really regretting not going on him earlier, not getting a kill while they're in that trilane. Wolves are going to right-click down that tower so Lycan gets some free gold. Great play coming out from the Dire side, punishing the Radiant for their lack of early aggression. Chilling Touch while they're pushing down a tower. I don't like this because Chilling Touch actually decreases your attack speed by 15%. So when you're right-clicking tower that's immune to magic damage, you're actually decreasing the overall DPS you do to it. It's a pretty minor difference, but it can be significant. Slardar immediately blinks and gets that Crush sleep over on the Ancient Apparition, but the sleep wears off, so Slardar's now going to turn around and beat him back down, drops the secondary stunt crush, is caught up with the Fiend Grip, however, Sand King comes in, cancels the Ice Blaster would have flown out at point blank range, gets a kill over an Ancient Apparition. Medallion of Courage picked up by the Lycan, very late Medallion of Courage pickup. Usually, Lycanthrope wants to rush for the Medallion of Courage before you get that Vladimir's offering. And you usually don't want to upgrade your boots into treads until much later on in the game. You want to go for Medallion of Courage into Vladimir's offering. You can choose to completely forego boots if you're confident in your ult timing, as your ultimate gives you max movement speed, as well as immunity to all snares, so Crystal Maiden can't do anything to you. Interesting to see the Lycan also has a counter picking as that Crystal Maiden, as the only thing Crystal Maiden can do to Lycanthrope when he activates his ultimate is that Frostbite. But Lycan usually goes for a BKB or goes for a Necrobook, in which case he doesn't care if he's snared up. The Necrobook illusions will still kill Crystal Maiden, as in his ultimate form they also have 522 movement speed and immunity to snares. Ice Blast flies out, hits 3, Sand King burst strikes into it once again. Dream Coil only on 2, no name illusory orbs out right before he dies, but Timbersaw kills 2, he's beyond godlike, gets 3 with that Whirling Death. Epicenter completely wasted on Templar Assassin with a Refraction, Battery Assault mostly wasted, he's chasing down Insanio, he wants to kill him, but he's going to go down with Templar Assassin, Ancient Apparition, as well as Insanio hanging around. 5 for 1, great play coming out from the Dire side. Was a good Epicenter, but wasn't comboed in time with that Dream Coil. Dream Coil only called out the Templar Assassin, is more than happy with that, as well as that Bane Elemental. Lycan did go down, so they did accomplish that, but in exchange for 2 towers as well as 5, I'm pretty sure they're more than happy with that trade. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check. In terms of EXP, 7,500 in favor of the Dire side. In terms of gold, 5,000 gold lead for the Dire side. And Sanyo, I think he's picked up his Bloodstone, or he has enough gold. Yeah, he's got 13 charges on that Bloodstone. With that 2,000 gold, he's gone for Boots of Travels. Great pickup on him. Would like to see maybe something like a Blink Dagger on the neck, just so he doesn't have to use that Timber Chain to initiate. You can immediately jump, you drop that Willing Death, throw out that Chakra in point blank range, and Timber Chain out. That burst damage combination is enough to instantly kill the Crystal Maiden if you get both procs off with the Chakram, as well as the Willing Death, and to the Timber Chain. With 13 charges on that Bloodstone, he's reached critical mass. He has not died at all this entire game. Even though his CS score is low, he's been farming heroes, and Sanyo playing absolutely out of his mind, considering the fact that the trilane from the Radiant side could have severely shut him down. Right, and I'm back. So would like to see the Radiant side maybe go for some smoke ganks, maybe see if they could try to get a pick off, with a Roshan attempt happening right now with the meld coming out from Templar Assassin, as well as the Medallion of Courage, which Lycan actually isn't using. Make sure you use your Medallion of Courage. He's choosing to go for a Cranium Basher over a BKB. Lycan is pretty interesting as a carry in terms of the items that you want to pick up. You want a BKB because your ultimate gives you all the time on target you need. If you have a BKB, you have 10 seconds where they can't do anything to you, so you can run them down. You don't have to build damage, because Feral Impulse is one of the best steroid abilities in the game. It gives you 30% attack speed, as well as 30% base damage to you, as well as your wolves. Howl gives you that extra right-click damage. You have an inbuilt crit coming out from your ult, and the wolves have a percentage-based crit as well. So you usually don't have to build damage, especially in the mid-game. All you need is the ability to not get snared, not get locked down or nuked down, which is his biggest weakness. And so the BKB or the Necrobook, as if you have a Necrobook, it doesn't really matter if they kill you, the majority of your damage is coming out from your minions, that Zoo build. Cranium Basher is a good luxury pickup. Abyssal Blade's great on Lycan once your BKB starts to run out of charges, when you need to lock someone down and kill them at the start of a fight. But in this mid stage, bit of a greedy pickup, would have liked to see the defensive power of a BKB. And nonetheless, he's been doing well. Templar Assassin went for that Treads into drum build. Almost got a Yasha. Yasha, great pickup on Templar Assassins. It's a very good value pickup. Gives her that movement speed to help her chase. Gives her the extra attack speed and the damage. 31% attack speed, as well as the 10% movement speed. Very handy things to have, especially when comboed up with the drums. Slardar going for that BKB. He needs it just so he can stay alive against the Timbersaws. Timbersaw's been completely wrecking him in all his fights. The damage amplification from Sprint means he takes a lot more damage.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Ancient Apparition Ice Blast catches out Viceroy Gunray, as well as Slap and Tickle. Would like to see a mechanism up on either player on the Radiant side, but the fact that these Ancient Apparition Ice Blasts are catching out 2 or 3 before the fight even begins is proving to be quite significant. Rocket Flare flies out. Clockwork's going for the mechanism. He'll have it up in about 450 more gold, but until he does, Radiant's teamfight potential is drastically limited. Clockwork's a great pickup for their mechanism as well as Pipe, as he's the one that usually initiates into the fight, so he's always in the thick of it. If your teammates are around, the 900 AoE from mech means that you should be able to catch all of your teammates, as well as the fact that it increases your survivability, 5 armor from having that buckler, as well as the +2 armor you get when you activate your mech. Gives you a lot more EHP, especially against the right-click damage coming out from that Ancient Apparition and his wolves. Would like to see a blade mail pickup on him as well, as he tends to be the one eating a lot of nukes. And it's a good pickup in general, especially against the sheer amount of magical power coming out from the dire side. Insanio is doing a cheeky bit of CSing. Hook shot over into Ancient Apparition, but they're fighting outside the base. It's a 3v5 right now. Blink immediately and into the crush. Where is the puck? Where is the Dream Coil? Sanio turns around. It's caught up in the Fiend Group. Bar Strike, Epicenter. Great plays coming up from the Sand King. Freezing Fields dropped, and Sanio's called out. He finally goes down. 1.3k going in favor of the puck. That's his Blink Dagger right there. Never mind, he already has his Blink Dagger, so he can build towards that Sheepstick. But meanwhile, Matty J. Bell doing what Lycan does best. Pushes a tower, drawing all that. Templar Assassins also get a bit of farm. Would have liked to see a Necrobook over the Lycan, as it got excellent split pushing capabilities. But the Cranium Basher isn't a terrible pickup on him. It gives him time to lock people in position and beat them down, which is always nice. Templar Assassin, interesting to see what she chooses to go for. She's got that Yasha. Mantis Style isn't a great pickup on Templar Assassin. It's not terrible, but it's not the best thing you could go for. Could even go for the SNY with the pushing kind of build with the recent buff to SNY, so it gives you 16% movement speed now. It's a pretty decent value pickup, as Sage gives you a lot of HP. Slap and Tickle caught out position, eats the double chakram. Frostbites, no Timber Chain. Timber Chain flies out, Whirling Death, but not enough damage to bring him down. Sanio finally taking a fall in that last fight. Looks like he's going for that Shiva's Guard with the plate mail pickup. Good pickup on him, gives him the reliable AoE snare, as he tends to be in the Middle East fights. Reduces Slardar's attack speed, which is quite significant, as Slardar as a strength carry doesn't have the same amount of attack speed as agility carries does, so the 40% negative attack speed to him is quite significant. Can mean that you eat 1 less bash per fight. Can mean the difference between life and death. Slardar really needs his BKB if he wants to hang around these fights. He's the one that's been jumping in as a double blink combination from Slardar as well as Puck. Believe Sand King might have picked up his... No, he's almost got his Blink Dagger, so he wants to hang around. Great epicenter from him in that last fight. Really helped turn the tide, as well as that Freezing Field coming out from the Crystal Maiden. Choosing to not go for additional points in Crystal Nova, I guess she feels in this case, since Lycan was immune to snares, and since Timbersaw has the Timber Chain to reposition himself, the snares really aren't going to be a critical factor. It's more about the fact that you can lock people in place for as long as possible. Did prove to be quite critical in that last fight. Illusory Orb flies out, does a bit of harassment, hit 3, Matty J. Bell drops his hook, hook shot flies in, catches out the TA, immediate blinks with the slow, as well as the 4-man Dream Coil, as well as the epicenter. This is the defensive power coming out from the Radiant side, but they're able to face tank that with the mechanism, with that mech, with the Aegis. Chakram flies out once again, HJ to X2, goes down to that Whirling Death, and Sanio is frozen, caught out with Cogs, but is able to Timber Chain himself out of there. TA is chasing, Slap and Tickle's going to take a fall. There's nothing he can do against this. Viceroy Gunray tries to save him with the Battery Assault, wasn't able to do it too much. TA looks like might be taking a fall again, turns around, right clicks them. Battery Assault breaks all the refraction charges, but while that's happening, they take the tier 3. Good defensive plays coming out from Insert Name here. But the gold lead as well as the item lead means that they can simply tank all that and not really care. Mechanism just comes out 25 minutes in. They've had their mech 5 minutes earlier. Matty J. Bell right-clicking down the racks. They've popped their fortification. Burrow Strike coming out from Sand King. Matty J. Bell might take a fall. Goes down to the silence coming out from the Puck as well as the Cogs. Insanio caught out the Cogs. Actually misplaces Cogs. Forces himself outside the range and is pushed back by them. Is able to get that second Timber Chain off. If they're unable to finish him off, that misses. He's going to go for that Timber Chain uphill. Great plays coming out from Insanio. He might actually make it out of this alive. While they're busy chasing him. Never mind. Puck knows the Slither blinks and he wants vengeance. Gets that crush in. Ice Blast flies out to provide some covering fire, but misses. Great defensive plays coming out. They do lose their racks. Never mind, they actually hold on to their racks. They lose their tier 3. The Slardar saying no, no, no in all chat. He's had enough of Timbersaw's shit. He's been dying to him every single one of these fights just because of the fact that the chakram is pure damage, cutting through him like a knife through hot butter, as well as the 15% less strength he has in all these fights. With the damage amplification from Sprint, Slardar is eating a lot of damage in these fights and has been showing. hasn't been all too effective. His CS scores have dropped ever since he picked up that Blink Daggers. He's been engaging these fights and he's been dying these ganks. They haven't been all too fruitful for him. Instantly he picks up a BKB, that can start to turn. But if he keeps dying before he picks up his BKB in the next few minutes, could be quite significant. As a Dire side, they've got that Death Ball push capability, and Clockwork catches out and kills the Ancient Apparition. He's got him frozen out though, so it looks like Viceroy Gunday will be trading. And Templar Assassin gets that kill. Baited coming out, so it looks like she's going for that S&Y. Bit of trash talk coming out from both teams. Just gonna take a quick drink of water. Alrighty. So golden EXP check. EXP in favor of the Dire side, 8,000 EXP lead, dropping down from 10,000. That was a successful defense, even though they did lose their tier 3. 12,000 gold lead, down from 14,000. So once again, great defense coming up from the Radiant side, but wasn't just quite enough. The fact they had that Aegis, and that they blew a lot of spells in that TA, meant she can immediately zip back into that fight. They don't have enough lockdown to deal with both the TA as well as the Timbersaw. They can lock down one, but not the other. So while they're locking down the other, the TA or the Timbersaw can run around, wreak absolute havoc, go into the back line, kill off the Crystal Maiden, harass out the Sand King, force him to use defensive Burrow Strikes, or once he Burrow Strikes in, they can just turn around and kill him. The fact that he only has a level 1 Epicenter really showed in that fight, as he did do a lot of damage, especially in conjunction with that Dream Coil. But once they tanked it, they just dropped their mech, turned around and right-clicked him down. S&Y picked up on Templar Assassin, so she's got fantastic pushing, chasing power. Hookshot flies out. Catches out Matty J. Bell. He's been caught out of position a lot in these fights. Cogs, as well as the crush coming out from Slardar. Slardar's a good counter to Lycanthrope, just because with Sprint and with the Blink Dagger, he can keep on track of him. He can chase him down. Lycan really relies on the fact that he has the maximum movement speed coming out from Shapeshift, so he relies on that as his escape mech. But against very mobile heroes like the Clockwork, like the Slardar, who could either choose to keep up with him with Sprint, or could choose to lock him in place with the hookshot into Cogs, shuts down a lot of his ability. That's the reason why Naga Siren is such an effective counter to that Lycanthrope, as when he pops BKB, when he shapeshifts, all you have to do is throw a net, and he's stuck in place for 5 seconds. Great aggressive ward coming out from that Ancient Apparition play. He dropped the smoke just so that wouldn't be seen. The fact that they have a ward there gives them high ground vision of the Radiant, so they know exactly where they are when they're pushing up, because that's one of the biggest advantages of the defending player when they're defending against a push, is the fact that the Dire side, the aggressing team, does not have knowledge of your position. They don't know what you're up to. It's especially relevant against a hero like Sand King, as if he's able to channel his ult in the background without you noticing, he can immediately blink in and rain absolute hell. Gem picked up by the Bane Elemental, most likely will be a defensive gem picked up just to be able to help them give map control. A lot of damage coming on Slardar. That's that pure damage pile coming out from the Timbersaw. Ice Blast flies out. Doesn't hit anyone, but I believe it clipped Puck, so it's shut down his HP regeneration. Ancient Apparition has always made sure to throw out his ult before fights happen to get a bit of vision, as if he hits that Sand King, that disables his Blink Dagger for 4 seconds. The fact they're up against a double Blink combination means that doing any kind of long range damage before you go in is critical, as Sand King without his Blink Dagger, you can see him channeling his Burrow Strike, then it's easier to interrupt. It means that if you can't interrupt him, you can at least run away. Waste a lot of pulses coming out from his Epicenter, as a Blink Dagger is critical on Sand King to be able to ensure that his Epicenter isn't wasted. He's got that second point up in Epicenter as well as the point up in Caustic, so he's using that to farm as well as push back the creeps coming over in the middle lane. The fact that the Dire side have complete map control right now. Hookshot flies out. They're fighting outside their base once again. Catches out the TA, completely isolating him from the fight, but with no support for... Never mind, support comes in right now. Slither blinks an Epicenter just to kill the Templar Assassin. Catches out Cadaver as well, but that Welling Death and Chakram instantly kills Slardar. Sand King goes down as well. Puck might be taking a fall. He's able to illusory orb out. Is TPing? Yeah, he's going to be fine. 2 for 3. They're fighting outside of their base, which I do not agree with. Clockwork has... They're wasting too many spells just to kill that TA. Clockwork got a great isolation up on TA, but the fact that the Dire side were close around enough that they could react meant they weren't able to accomplish all too much. Bane Elemental has connected, so they're just pausing the game. Clockwork has brought back, but without the Slardar and without the Epicenter, there's actually not all too much they can do. So that's the power of the Timbersaw coming out, especially against the triple strength lineup of the Radiant side. Whirling Death does so much damage because it decreases your effective HP pool, and this only increases in effect the longer the game goes as you get more points up in strength. You saw the power of that Shiva's Guard. He was able to pop it there to provide that extra snare, so he can get in position to get that Whirling Death. Another form of burst damage as well. Shiva's Guard drops. Slap and Tickle might actually be taking a fall. Turns around. Drops that Frostbite. Ice Blast actually whiffs. I think it clipped somebody. Never mind. Yeah, it clips Clockwork, so he drops his mech despite being hit by the Ancient Apparition ult. You cannot regenerate any HP, so die back. Bit more smack talk coming out from the Dire side. That looks like a free tail 1 Rax over in the middle lane. No Name taking a bit more damage from that Chakram. Sand King's hanging around. He goes in for a Burst Strike on 2, drops that Sandstorm. But with the gem, as well as the Chakram and Shiva, he's going to take a fall. Blink in from Slardar, but he blinked into 4. Ancient Apparition still hanging around. Puck's there to help him out with that AoE silence. But that's all they can really do. Crystal Maiden runs in. Looks like she wants to go for the ult, but is caught out by the Fiend's Grip. Slardar takes a lot of damage. He's got that HP debuff from that Whirling Death. Is killed by the Timber Chain out. Timbersaw's almost going to go down. He might go down, but he might be able to get a kill over on Puck before he does it. No, he explodes, drops that gem. Ancient Apparition tanking the Tier 4 tower. 4 stops himself out. Gem is still on the deck. Being pinged up by Timbersaw saying, "Team, pick it up, pick it up." Cadaver runs over, he gabs it. But 4 for 1, as well as the mid lane Rex. Doesn't look like the Radiant side can recover from this at this point in the game. That Timbersaw was simply got way too much of the off lane. No pressure placed on them at all. And then the instant the Crystal Maiden rotated and left Sand King and Slardar to their devices, Timbersaw was able to get a double kill. So their lane really fell apart. The instant Timbersaw was able to get a few levels. Hookshot in, up against Cadaver. Ancient Apparition can't do anything. He has no mana. Cadaver has no mana as well. Viceroy Gunray is able to get a kill. I don't even smoke. Blinks in. Could have Power Strike and gotten 2. Only gets 1. Eats Nice Blast to the face. 4 staff out. Drops the Urn Charge, so he should be fine. Mech drop by the Clockwork. Even though they were clipped by that Ice Blast, I don't think Viceroy Gunroy knows how the Ice Blast works. You cannot regenerate any HP at all. So Feast is disabled. Passive regeneration from something like the Shadow Dance is disabled. Mech, Wand, any form of magic regeneration, HP regeneration at all is completely disabled. They get a free wand, so a bit of typing happening there. Easy 50 gold. Sheepstick picked up on Puck. Great pick up on her. As I don't think the carries on the Dire side have a BKB. No, TA doesn't have a BKB. Lycan's choosing, looks like he's going for a heart with that Vitality booster, so he doesn't have one. And Timbersaw, no BKB up on him as well. Looks like he's going for that Hood of Defiance. They're going for Roshan, who's respawned, so once they kill Roshan, they're going to feel confident to go for that bottom or top lane push to get that Rax. No medallion used by Manny J. Bell. I don't think I've even seen him use this medallion during any of these fights. The thing with medallion is, it does give you that passive mana regeneration of 50% from the Sage's Mask, as well as the +7 armor, but the idea behind it is, of course, you want to use it. It's a free Desolator's worth of armor reduction on whatever hero you choose to use it on. So it drastically increases the DPS of not only yourself, but your team with all the right clicks coming out from TA, as well as your wolves. Interesting to note that he also hasn't been using Howl all too much. He's been playing Lycan as a passive right clicker, which he is to an extent, but the reason why you pick up the Lycanthrope is for that early split push power. It's for the fact that you could globally influence the rest of your lanes through that Howl, and the fact that you can secure Roshan on your own. And like that Nature's Prophet, you have that Rat Dodo. Nature's Prophet has teleportation, you have your ult to get the hell out of danger. Hasn't really been accomplishing all too much with it, but the rest of his team has been kind of keeping up with the slack. Manny J. Bell still offers a lot of right-click power in these fights, so he hasn't been a complete waste. Would like to see a BKB picked up on him, but at this point in the game, it's not really a critical factor, as they're winning these fights and wiping the Radiant side without it. Pipe of Insight picked up. Critical pickup, especially against a Sand King or a Puck, as that completely neuters the amount of damage they're capable of outputting. As the only physical DPS that they have is Slardar, and even then, he hasn't really been doing all too much. Outside of amplified damage, he hasn't been doing all too much damage in terms of right clicks, and he's dying almost instantly to Timbersaw as well as the TN in these fights anyway. Bot lane push happening, hook shot over on Manny J. Bell's as well as Cadaver. Burrow Strike into Epicenter with that Dream Coil, great defensive plays coming out, but with no kills happening, Freezing Field actually might get 2, gets 1, gets 2. Aegis popped for the TA, she's going to respawn in the midst of 4, but she's more than happy with that. Turns around, gets a kill, 1 right click over on Crystal Maiden. called out in the cogs, is regretting her decision. Fiend's Grip up over on the Sand King. Ultra kill coming out from TA. Gets that kill, gets a secondary kill with the cleave damage coming out from the side blade. Buyback from the Crystal Maiden. They want to get some kind of kill over in TA. Crystal Nova, she says damage. She wanted to rampage. Don't think she's going to get it. Sand King buys back as well. Blinks in. Bow Strikes only catches out one. You want to get at least 2 heroes that Bow Strike once you have a Blink Dagger. Illusory Orb as well as Sheepstick with the Frostbite. Didn't quite stagger their CCs properly, but they get a kill nonetheless. Cadaver taking a lot of damage. Looks like Insanio's brought back. He's jumping back into the fight. He actually has lifesteal, so does he have a Vladimir's Offering? Do one of them have a Vladimir's Offering? Cadaver's back in array. Drops the Shiva's Guard to hit Puck to try to disable his Blink. But with that, Illusory Orb is fine. Actually might get a kill on Puck. Puck didn't phase shift the Chakram properly, so he's going to take a fall. With that Timber Chain, with the Whirling Death while en route to Timber Chain. It's a lot of damage. Blinks out. Timbersaw panics. And good plays coming out from Puck, just barely keeping himself alive. They're actually able to hold their bottom lane Rex, even if it did cost them 3 buybacks. So great plays coming out from the Radiant side. Dire side getting a bit too greedy. Should have chosen to take down the Rax. Matty J. Bell didn't actually accomplish anything during that fight. Ran in, took a lot of damage, ran back out. I don't think he died during that, but he didn't actually accomplish anything. Aghanim Scepter picked up on the Ancient Apparition. Huge pickup as it increases the Shattered debuff from 12 seconds up to 17. Means that 17 seconds we are not receiving any regeneration as well. And once you get that level 3 Ice Blast, it's actually a significant amount of damage, as the dot is quite significant when you don't have HP regeneration. Right now I think it's 37? No, it's 20 damage right now. So 32 damage per second with the fact that you don't have any regeneration. So that actually stacks up to be quite a lot of damage, especially if you can hit 2 or 3 players on the enemy side. But the de-warding coming out from Cadaver. Might get caught out with a hookshot. Viceroy Gunray has been on point at defending his wards. Just going to do a quick golden EXP check in favor of the Dire. 15,000 EXP. Not quite as significant now as the supports of the level 2 ultimate, and some of the heroes starting to hit level 24, level 25. Yeah, Timbersaw's level 22. In terms of gold, 15,000 gold lead in favor of the Dire side. This is a bit more critical. That means there's 3 or 4 big items on the Dire side that the Radiant side do not have. The supports are very poor. Hookshot actually misses. Rare miss coming up from Viceroy Gunray. He's been on point so far. Slardar forced to use his Crush just to force back the super creeps as well as get a bit of farm. He still doesn't have his BKB. 13 minutes he's been trying to get it ever since the 25-minute mark. He's been sitting on that Ogre Club, has picked up the Mithril Hammer, but he's been dying all too many times in these fights. The issue with Slardar as a carry is, like the Viper, like the Nikes, you need a 1-item advantage to go toe-to-toe against another carry. You can't really play all too well from behind, similar to that Chaos Knight. The advantage, however, is the fact that, like Chaos Knight, you have huge solo and duo ganking power with the fact that you have a reliable CC of your own. But if you're unable to press that early advantage and get those kills, you start to become dead weight for the rest of your team. At this point, he's just a stun bot and a negative armor bot. But the negative armor isn't too effective, as the rest of his team, they're all relying on magical damage. Puck is the only other significant right clicker, as Clockwork can beat people down as cogs, but he wants to rely on his Battery Assault, and Battery Assault's completely fallen off now. The supports on the Dire side are too tanky, so they don't really care if they're called out tanking on their own. The fact that mechanism really shuts down Clockwork, as that's about a fourth of his Battery Assault damage is completely wasted. With that pipe pickup as well, Radiant side just aren't able to output enough damage, so not only does Slardar need that BKB, he also needs a damage item. Would like to see something in Assault Cuirass. Chakram throws out, misses, but 3 catches with that Shiva's Guard. Matty J. Bell, he's going for Rax this time. Hookshot in, catches out 2. Ice Blood flies out, as well as the Burst Strike Epicenter. Where is that Dream Coil? Dream Coil drops. Matty J. Bell pops his ult form. It's Frostbitten. Freezing Field coming out, catching out 2. Slap and Tickle, completely ignored, is instantly turned around and pops all that damage. She was able to get a 6-second duration Freezing Field off. Viceroy Gunray called out that Fiend's Grip, and they go down. The Dire side, they completely face tanked all the damage coming out from the Radiance. They got a great teamfight combination coming out. Crystal Maiden was able to get almost full channel duration of her ultimate, and they just completely ignored her until the last minute, turned around and said, oh, there's a Crystal Maiden. Right clicked her, she popped like a balloon, they take a free Rax. That looks like game. Illusory Orb thrown out. Puck wants to get Cadaver, but looks like he might take a fall himself. That Ice Blast as well as that Meld hit. And a JFK assassination coming out from Ancient Apparition. Instant buyback from Puck. A lot of buybacks coming out from insert name here. Haven't been too fruitful. That one's sort of fruitful, but too little too late. Gets a kill on Bane with that ethereal jaunt into the dust. He yells out got him, and GG well played called at 41 minutes and 13 seconds. Slithereen Squad take a great game 1. Just going to take a short break, and we'll be right back in about 3 to 4 minutes when the lobby's back up. Thanks for listening. It's 49 signing out.